You know, the majority of salespeople make like 5 grand a month. It's like 60 to 70K a year. The majority, not just in the high ticket sales space, but in all sales industries combined, 80% of salespeople make well under $80,000 per year. And the high ticket sales space is no different. Yet we have all these influencers saying that you can make 10 to 20K a month working very little on your own time with no experience. Just if you can talk nice, you'll make money, right? There's a false expectation that, you're going to be talking to leads that want to buy. You'll be talking to leads, right? But it is your job to influence them and to close the deal. Because if they were ready to buy, companies wouldn't need you. Companies wouldn't be paying you 10 to 20% if their marketing did all the work and they could just send people to a checkout page. Okay. Now, here's the thing I see with most sales reps that make under 5K a month. Let's say in the high ticket space, you're averaging 5K or below, or let's say you're new, is that they don't know what to look for in the first 5 minutes of their sales call. Okay. They're building fake rapport. They think that, with high enthusiasm and like talking about someone's goals, that's going to be enough to motivate someone to spend 3, 5, 8, 10, $15,000 in some transformational info product, right? And, when I coach one-on-one students, when they first come to me, right, that's what I see. They're just not knowing what is the exact problem I need to look for, because if we can find that early, the whole rest of the call is built about solving that problem, because there's typically emotional drivers behind it. Okay, so in this training, I'm going to go through what are the key things you can start changing right now in your discovery process so you can actually start making more sales. This is my Miro board that I give access to my students. It's like how to sell any offer. Has every stage of a sales call, and there's different variations of it depending on what you're selling and the stage that your prospect's in. It can get quite overwhelming to go through this in one YouTube or like one video, right? So I'm going to give you guys some cheat codes that you can implement right away. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now I'll give you an example first and foremost is that I was training a business owner, and he does lead generation. So he would open the call, set a frame. Cool, man, tell me a little bit about how your ads are running. Okay, and how are they going for you? These are the types of questions that lose sales. I don't know if you guys caught it. It's a very vague question, but most people ask that, right? Oh, how's your job going? You like it? Right? How's it been? Or how you doing with your business? How's it going? Give me a little context. Vagueness loses deals, okay? So that's a great example for a lot of people is that they're asking vague questions in the first opening, 3 minutes of their call. Let's say you sell lead generation. I want to know what they're doing, the results they're getting, and why the results aren't up to where they want it to be that has them considering help. That's why they're on a sales call, right? So think about it this way. We changed that question from what are you doing right now in terms of driving leads? How long have you been doing that strategy? What results are you getting from that strategy? Okay, and how many leads is that driving you on your calendar, let's say per month? And how many of those are you closing? Ballpark, just give me a rough estimate. What's that equate to in terms of monthly revenue? Boom. Bang, bang, bang. We have found the preliminary problem, which is how much money they make. This is for someone that is on the call with you to get help with lead generation. Now, we would do this a little bit differently if you sell fitness or if you sell men's work or if you sell a non-ROI offer, but this is just really easy for you to grasp the concept. Think about the difference here. Okay, what are you doing in terms of ads, and how's that going for you? Well, it's going pretty good. It could be better. Okay, man, let's break this down. What are you doing right now? Why are you using that strategy? How long have you been using it for? What results are you seeing? Okay, because you're like, not only are you getting the data that you need, you're finding the problem quickly, which is whatever revenue level they tell you, there's something around that they're unhappy with. It's not at the level they want. They're trading too much time for it. Maybe their overhead is really high. Maybe it's taken them so long to get here. Maybe they're capped out here, but there's some level of unhappiness with this number that now we can unravel and probe on. And a lot of rookie salespeople are told that when you set a frame, you're the authority. No one gives a shit, right? They've been on sales calls before, and the long-winded frames, frankly, make you look like an amateur. If you're like, yep, welcome to the call. This is the agenda for today. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And if we feel like you're a good fit, then we'll welcome you to the program, and then you can decide if you want to jump in today. Like, cool, man. Sure. What do you got for me? Right? It's like, I'm a good fit if I have money and you know it. So don't tell me like, oh, we're going to see if we really want to let you in here unless you're selling to like insecure buyers that have never been on a sales call, right? Then you can get away with that. Majority of people like you'll just build sales resistance. So, you build up becoming an authority by asking pointed questions, right? Again, if you want to be an authority and someone that people buy from, you can't just be asking fake, well, how's that going? Are you happy with that, I guess? Like, is that like, what would you maybe change? All right, and what do you really want to accomplish? What's the goal? It's like, no, man. Let's break down that strategy and see what's going on, see if we can help you out. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. What strategy are you using? Why are you using that strategy? What was the rationale behind that? How long have you been doing that for? Okay. And I guess from that, what results are you seeing on a monthly basis? What's that translate in terms of like monthly revenue? And what's that like translate in terms of take home? Because every business is a little bit different. Wow. Okay. That's a level we're at. How long have you been capped at that? 6 months? And like help me understand is like what like are we okay with that or what's going on? Bang, 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 bang. I'm finding the problem quickly. Okay? So you're going to do it differently for different offers. You're going to want to have more context for different offers, but whoever's asking the question holds the frame, right? Sales is a frame battle, right? Because whoever is perceived as the authority is the one who's going to close the sale. And there's either the prospect selling you on the reasons they shouldn't, or you're selling them on the reasons they should. Okay? So you come across as an expert by asking the right questions and leading the call, not just by setting an agenda. Okay? You also need to seek to understand, right? Because people believe 10% of what you say, 90% of what they say. So if you're constantly talking at people and not closing at the rate you want, it's because they're not persuading themselves. You're just talking at them and hoping that your pitch does the heavy lifting. And the biggest thing again is vagueness will cost you sales. I already kind of covered that example with ROI offers, but if you can learn to do that early on in your call, right? Early on in your sales call, again, you're going to be perceived as an authority, even if you're young, even if you're new in sales. It's like, oh shit, this person knows what they're talking about. Yeah, here you go. Here's what's going on. But you're also going to be able to find and read between the lines. Right. Once you find, let's say, okay, you're making 10K a month, but you've been doing this for 3 years. Like, why so little? Or like, you I don't know. You happy with that? How come? What's going on? Right. They're gonna tell you, it's quite frustrating because I pay a VA, I pay for this, so I'm really only taking home $5,000 a month. Wow, and that's been going on for 3 years. Okay, so help me understand like what's been like the biggest. Now, when you ask a challenge question, what's been the biggest challenge in breaking past that income ceiling? You're going to have a much more real response instead of a surface level thing, because we've stacked the data accordingly, right? We're asking pointed questions. And then we can start looking for the limiting beliefs if there are some, right? Some offers are going to be a lot of limiting beliefs in the prospect, self-doubt, confidence. I don't know if it's going to work for me. I'm looking for the right program. I'm in research mode. Those are all like behaviors that don't serve that person, because if those behaviors did, they wouldn't be on the call with you. Those behaviors led to the outcomes that they want, they wouldn't be on the call with you. And now we're able to actually find those early on in the call, and then the whole rest of your call is built on shattering those behaviors or those beliefs. So that's initially, if you guys are doing around 5K a month, just by looking at your script or looking at your framework, right? And like, okay, how can I ask more pointed questions to get real data to get to the problem? You'll start having more meaningful conversations. So I hope that helps, and we'll see you in the next one.